Let's go over the basics of the hips in Tai Chi to learn correct posture. Practice standing against a wall or a flat surface with your heels touching and pulling back to get your hip and body away from the wall as one piece. Lead with the hip. And feel more flexibility in the joints. Fold the front of the ankles, the back of the knees, and the front of the hips. So you're going to feel the head of the ball joint rolling back under with the lumbar, as opposed to the other way around with the butt sticking back, leaning forward and leading with the upper body. So that's going to strain your knees. So avoid also standing completely straight, because that'll also strain your knees. If you have trouble leading with only the hip, without the upper body getting in the way, you can practice the form just carrying a ball or with your arms completely up, extended. A lot of people have a habit of using their arms, their shoulders, and tensing their necks to balance instead of letting the energy come from the bottom up, the feet, legs, hips. So you don't let the momentum of your body take over out of control. And a lot of people have tension in their hips, so I'll tell them to drop, to lower and extend their hip and lower back down to the ground so they can let the energy come up correctly. When you pull back with the feet to get the hip forward with the sides back, it puts the weight at the middle, upper middle part of your feet. So your body feels slightly forward and the feet connect to your arms with the opposing thumbs back. So the feet move the arms out.
Okay, so first feel the feet pull back and feel the back of the thighs to get the hip down, the lower back down, and feel that hip rotate underneath this way. Okay, so the center of the hip, the lumbar comes forward, but the sides of the hip go back, turning the femur bones. So the hip never tilts, even when you bend down. And to stand correctly, to walk correctly, you want to feel that locked in place, meaning the center forward and the sides back, as well as the alignment with the quadratus lumborum and the tailbone. Especially when sitting, you want to feel the tailbone pushing down and get the body up. And that's going to prevent injuries and pains in your lower back and the knees.
When you rotate the hip all the way back, it strengthens the hip as one piece and it keeps the iliotibial tract, the band, in place, which stabilizes the knee and connects the hip muscles to the tibia of the forelegs. So it's prevention from knee pains like IT band syndrome, which is side of the knee pain caused from walking, cycling, running, anything that bends your knee repetitively. And if you already have it, this will help you to not aggravate it further and to heal. You can only charge forward and move quickly with agility if you lock that in place. And if you turn, you want to make sure you lock it first, otherwise you risk hurting one of the vertebrae in your lower back. The tailbone and the hip work together to sink the hip. The gluteus maximus, which is connected to the tailbone, is the largest muscle in the body, and it moves the thigh and the hip. So when you're sinking the hip with the tailbone, you're getting more power out of the legs. And the quadratus lumborum is right here. It's connected to, let's see, it's right here where the 12th lowest rib is, down to where the top of the iliac crest. And that works too hard and causes pain in your lower back when you don't maintain correct posture in your spine and pelvis.
So first, you're going to bring the hip forward. The center of the hip comes forward, and feel your quadratus lumborum twisting. Good. And feel that tailbone, feel the right side of your tailbone go way down underground, like further than you think. And then you're going to keep it fixed and stretch that spine away from it. So it elongates the spine, keeps your spine straight. And your hips stay steady because you're now going to feel the gluteus maximus and the external rotators. So you're completely on this leg on this side. Okay, so the hip comes forward first, then it does a lateral rotation. So you're going to abduct the hip this way. All right, so here, move my knee with your knee. Okay, then now keep that knee going out that way. So you're going to move the hip away from that fixed weighted thigh to the corner. Good. And then you're going to feel the weight come up this thigh as you turn the hip. Good. So that just kind of clicks in place. This leg hangs from the hip. Completely let go of that leg. So it feels like your glutes are inside the square with that tibia going out. You feel this like just click in place, and then you just, good, you look relaxed. That's better. Let go of the shoulders. Let go, let go, let go, let go. Okay. And you got to extend those arms. It's an extension. These arms, yeah. Okay, good. So same thing going back. That thigh, the hips and thighs are rolling out like this. So you keep that thigh going out that way, fixed, and move the hip away from it to get a waist turn. And the way to get the spine to go straight back is to feel that quadratus lumborum twisting. And now feel it go all the way back. Go ahead and shift the weight. Now you want to feel it all the way back because it's the deepest abdominal muscle. It's also a back muscle, so you want to feel good. You want to feel that back abdominal wall. And this folds right here at the joint so that it's weightless. All the weight's on the other leg. Extend the arms out, let go of the arms, keep the weight on that leg. So everything is compressed and aligned, and you're a pull on this side. Good. The ball and socket joints in the shoulders and the hips permit a full range of motion. So unless you're doing a hip waist turn or shoulder waist turn, the shoulders always stay on top of the hips and follow the hips. So you don't use the arms, the upper body to turn the hip, you use the feet and the legs. And when you fold the joints and you feel the roundness of the joints, you won't overreach, meaning you don't follow your arms leaning forward, top heavy and off balance. Your arms will extend away from your rooted center line. And even if you do those shoulder turns, you never feel like your shoulders are getting away from the hips because the joints feel connected. You're compressed and aligned from the feel of the structure. So you pivot from the head of the ball joint, and the other side of the hip feels like the hinge of a door closing. And the leg just hangs from the hip with the knee pointed down. And then going back, you fold this hip, you feel the ball joint, the head of the ball joint rolling back and underneath to come forward and to the side. Then you move the hip to the corner, the center of the hip to the corner without moving the shoulders. So it's a hip waist turn. Then you feel the stability from the quadratus lumborum twisting to keep the spine up. You shift the weight back, pulling on the foot, and you keep this thigh back. And you want to feel a pull on this side with the tailbone. And then you feel this side of the femur, the head of the femur, fit tightly into the socket of the hip. Think of it like an X. You move to the corner, then to the left, and then going back, you go to the left and to the corner. So you get more extension and elasticity when you hit all the points as you move circularly within that square. And that's also how you get the upper arm to extend and hit the point of the corner from the waist. And the waist feels like it stays back like a suction cup. So when you do that first movement in Tai Chi, the ward off, if you're not hitting that point, make sure you're getting a full rotation with the hips. And lightness comes from extension. And the goal is to feel light and firm, not soft and hard.